Okay, so it's a little after 1:30 on Tuesday morning, and I woke up, or I've been up since 11, and I have tried to go back to bed, but the energy is intense, man. I cannot sleep. It just sounds noisy. It's like everything seems like super intense, so I can't sleep. After I do this, and then it's been a few hours, hopefully I'll go back to sleep in a little while. But man, the energy is crazy. And let me think. And the weather here yesterday, it was weird. Is it was it would be really hot when there was no clouds, but then these giant ass clouds, these big stormy clouds, and then it kept having this raining, and then it would stop, and then it would be real hot, and then it would be real cold, and it was just like weird. Now all of a sudden it would feel like winter out. And then all of a sudden it would feel super hot. It was the craziest. So I don't know. The next 3 days is supposed to be sunny again. So it's kind of weird too. And go sit out in front of this LED sunlight thing that they got going and get a suntan. It's kind of weird. But you know what I keep on seeing is, so where I was talking about the earth thing, because at first I was flat earther when everything started falling apart. Then I started being like, yeah, but then the more you go into this is not even real, this physical thing, it's like in our mind and stuff. Oh yeah, which I just saw a video, and a guy was saying that the government now has announced that they can bend time and space and make it where we can travel way faster. And he was explaining how it works, how everything has like this magnet, like the toroidal field, and then what's inside. So it's gonna be something like that. Like, to me, is I like that. It's kind of like Star Trek. I don't know if we would, right away go into those things and evaporate and then come back somewhere else. But I think that we're definitely gonna go into the flying car things, but we're gonna go through portals, like, to get to places. And I don't know, if it's gonna be like signs or something like freeway of portals, and oh, I'm going over there and just zip through there and then you're there and stuff. Like, I don't know. But they're saying with the technology that they can bend time and space and create something. They didn't say exactly portals, but something about pockets of that we can move fast through or something. So I've been saying this for years. This is coming. And so they've said that. I'm seeing more people now be like, oh my God, this is so absurd. They're starting to catch on, like, this is to wake people up, and they're so resistant, and they can't force you. All they can do is hold things up to get you to wake up. But like, this is our own thing, we have to question things. And I just think it's so funny too, how the letter that so many people were like, oh, that's a conspiracy, oh, you're crazy. Because that was something too in my family, where they start being like, I was a Q conspiracy crazy person. People online saying that and stuff all the time. And it's so funny how the stigma around that, because to me, the Q is about question. It's like, what did a Q stand for? Q and A. And so question and answer. And then when they started picking a Q, or when the Q came, like, all the people are like, well, the Q is, the secret organization Kennedy created. It's like, I don't know, a whole bunch of different stuff. But I kept on thinking, I think it's just question. It's like the question. What's the question? It's like, and there was so much about question everything, look into things, think for yourself. That's what I think it's all about. And it was, there was things that were like Easter eggs out there, look at this. Did you think about this before? Well, think about this. And all the people start going into it, and there's so much conspiracy and so much, there's so much crimes. Like, it's so bad that it started freaking people out. And that's how people start getting so stuck in their fear, and it kind of stagnated their own awakening, because everything is about, and then the people who were like awakening to the matrix and stuff, they just started becoming desperate to get out of it, like it's a trap or something. And so you gotta go deeper into what is your soul doing here. Your soul it's so funny because there's so many people that act like somebody else has control over their soul, but really when we watch society play out, people give the energy of their soul over to other people, and they it's like they I don't know that they want to be controlled, but they allow themselves to be controlled to feel more more accepted, more relevant or whatever. And so anyways, they're just like resistant to new information, and this is such a controlled thing with the narrative and the the media, which so not only did the Pope die, which I thought is so interesting. But they make like he didn't die on Easter, but it was like a few hours later. And then they counted yesterday as Easter Monday. I don't remember there ever being an Easter Monday. There was Easter Sunday, but now we got Easter Monday too. And so, he left at this big holiday thing. That's this religious holiday thing, which I was like, well, that's interesting. But then on top of that, now Klaus has stepped down. And then people are reminding, remember the Queen is dead now too. So the Pope and the Queen. And this person didn't even mention about Klaus. Like, I don't know if everybody knows, I guess, that he stepped down in his position. And the person I heard talking about that was saying that that this day that this all happened has something to do with the Roman Empire starting or stop, something about this connection. And she was just like, it's very interesting how the Vatican and then all of this happening at this really specific time, this date and time of this I don't know, kind of like a relapse of something playing out or something. So, but they do keep us kind of in that, like like we are creators. So we are imaginative. We can, we can see, possibilities and stuff. Like people are really restricted and contained right now, but in their natural abilities, it's very much creative. But the beings that are over us, they're like low vibration, and they're not like creative. And like I said, they don't feel emotions. I think you got to be in touch with your emotions to be creative. That's kind of like where they'll be like artists, songwriters, musicians. They're so emotional and stuff because you got to be in touch with your emotional side to feel things. And so that creative side, well, like I've said, these other beings that make this world so hostile and hard to just exist, then they don't have feelings like us. They don't have emotions. So they aren't creative. They aren't creators. They are, they're robotic kind of, but they're not NPCs, but they're very low vibration. They're all about control. But see, it's weird because like you have people who are super controlling in life, and we think like, God, what an asshole. They're so controlling. But really, people become really hyper controlling out of fear of having to keep everything together, that things may fall apart, and they don't trust. And so it's kind of a scary place to be. So when somebody's exhibiting a lot of control freak, like they've got to control everything, it's because inside they feel like so much chaos. They feel so scared. They're like, it's a deep fear. So, which when we shift back to these people who were running us and their lack of emotions and stuff, are probably, they wouldn't even feel fear, but they have some kind of a thing about wanting to keep us stifled because they know like we are the creators. Yeah, I was seeing it kind of like, yeah, okay. So kind of seeing it like a concrete, like they go in and put in a concrete sidewalk, and we would still come up and start growing in around there. So it's like in the micro macro, it's almost like we're the weeds, you know, we're the natural, the natural beings. It's natural. uh, it's like we're these flowers in bloom, and we are wild weeds, and we can grow everywhere, and they are doing everything to try and stop it, but we just pop up here and there. And that is I don't want to just say it freaks them out, because they don't have deep emotions like to get freaked out or to be scared or something, but they're consumed with controlling us, because they know as soon as we get it's like as soon as we get out of the cage, there's going to be there's no control. But see, their lack of creation, it's just like it's repeat cycles. They just repeat things. So, you know, just like, you know, we need a distraction. We need money over here. We need this. We need that. Well, let's create a war. So let's do that every few years. Like they just don't have a lot going. They just do this repeat. Well, us as creators, see, we could create crazy stories and stuff like that. So we are a lot more expansive than them, but that is also because we are higher vibration and they're low vibration, because this is their like these certain ones that are like low vibration, that they don't, it's like to me, it's not like, you know, you're going to go up in the heavens and you're going to see Hillary up there and go, oh well, that was a rough one, huh? No. There's certain people that are just kind of bound to low vibration, and it's a dark energy, it's a heavy energy, and we are of the light, and we are the creators, and so we are very expansive. And oh yeah, because the one thing I was gonna say too was the toroidal field thing. So there's some things that I keep just having in my head. I just keep seeing them and seeing them and seeing these certain things. But so in the earth realm thing that we are in, and how I said, to me, I see it like they came up with this globe concept and put us on the outside of it, because the inside, like the inverted world that we are existing in. So they tell us we're on the outside, but we're really on the inside. And we are encased in this like bubble. Oh yeah, and there's more people now going in on Katie. Now that people are seeing like, oh my God, she's a real piece. Yeah, because there's more information, like, because this act, the Katy Perry Act, because of her horribleness, they've had to, the family, I think the vet is the one who went in and got this Katy Perry Act. But she not only took his $15 million mansion away from him, and he's got Huntington's, 85-year-old vet, and who had just had like back surgery or something. So not only did she take his $15 million mansion from him, but she also got $5.5 million in damages, because it was so emotionally draining for her. God, she's such garbage. I just can't even, like, some of these people who, and then, you know, when people are so heartless like that, it's like, well, what kind of shapeshifter are you? Because you're not the same as us. Like, you're not, and there's so many of these people, though, where you can go back and they, you know, they took the entryway into Hollywood, and then they got sucked up and got taken, like the original Katy Perry could be in one of those like test tubes somewhere in a lab, and they just go in and take cells out of her just to make a new one all the time or something. Maybe they're, you know, making more kids out of her DNA, you know. It could be a whole bunch. It could be like in you know, in 30 years or something, all of a sudden we're looking around like, boy, there's a lot of Britney Spears looking girls. Boy, there's a lot of Katy Perry looking girls. Boy, look at how many girls look like Nicole Kidman used to when she was younger before the surgery. Um, but anyways, it could be very much like that. You know, there's a lot more lab world going on here than people want to realize. And so anyways, but I think that the Q has to do with question things, and that is where people are so stagnant in their abilities to think outside the box, to question things, which is just it's so strange to observe and witness this, you know. And but you know, on all the things you got to keep on remembering, it's all on fear. I could get real mad at my brother and sister and stuff, but you know, their fears drive them, their fears and their control and their ego. And that is such a thing too, man. Watching how all these people are so in ego and so arrogant, and they have no idea, like, they don't have the full story, and they're just out there, they've got it, they know it all, and they've got such a SJW spirit, this social justice, like they're the ones who've got it all, like, and it is so crazy too, because these people always think they're so progressive, they're so liberal, they are so caring, they're the perfect people. They're the ones that are so accepting of everybody, trans, gay, everybody. They're so accepting, except for people who are conspiracy theorists, except for people who say things outside the box. Where do you accept them? I don't see it. Like, so you're just quite up your own ass. But you know, as take notice of your own self. But the universe is going to accommodate them. The universe is coming in hard. It's going to be, you know, full-size mirrors in front of everybody. When you try and tell people that, they're always like, oh, they won't see, they'll never see, and stuff like that. And I'm just like, the universe has got to make sure. The universe isn't playing. Like, they'll see what they do with the information. That's what remains to be seen. But yeah, everybody's going to get an opportunity to see themselves in great detail and parts of themselves that they had no idea about. Like these people who are going around being so hateful and judgmental, so stuck up in their own ego, who think that they know it all, they're academic, and science is the god of all things and stuff, that they are gonna, all I can keep seeing is like this Emperor's New Clothes moment, you know, where all of a sudden they realize that they're really naked. And, so there's going to be like this strong humility, and there's going to be a lot of people who are super resistant to it. They're going to keep thinking, no, this isn't, no, that's correct, no, that's not. But like I said, the universe isn't playing. It's going to come in. Like, it's, the information is just keeps coming and coming and coming, and it's not going to stop. There's another thing too, besides the government saying, well, we got technology now, we can just, and I knew that was coming. I knew that there's portals all around us, and I knew that we we're going to be changing how we move. Because, okay, so on the Earth plane thing, so yeah, I used to see it as like a flat Earth, but that's when I was a lot more physical in my three-dimensional concept of what us being here. And you know, and I thought like we were flesh and blood, and we had a soul, and our soul leaves, and then, you know, but then when you start realizing, like, what got me was I started seeing it as like, well, we're just all these atoms vibrating really fast, and if you change the vibration, the atoms just change. They go apart, or whatever. That's what we are. We don't just blow up. It's not like flesh and blood is just gonna splatter or something. And so that is where we can start like traveling like Star Trek and stuff, when we start realizing that. And and I don't know if it's just because this place is so low vibration, even if we realize it, that we can't do it. But anyways, that's all coming. That is going to be this change, and that's also going to be, I don't know where, I mean, how could you be in denial as like that this world is way different than you think, when all of a sudden we're all in flying cars going through portals and shit? Like, there's going to be like no hiding from what's coming. We're going to go into a huge change. And it's like, it's like this, realizing that we're in the earth instead of out of the earth, you know. And so to me, it's like this toroidal field of energy, which, it's everything is plasma, and then it's like this field of energy, and then we come into this field of energy for this experience, and we're connected like a rope or a chain to all of the energies before and after us. And it's also, though, we can come in and keep completing the chain. We can come in and have other placements in the chain. And so, I don't know how big everybody's soul groups are or however that works, but we have, all these other energies that we come in and have these experiences with. And so to me, so now how I see it is like this toroidal field of energy that ends up being like a bubble in the water, and that there's tons and tons of realities. Like on the micro macro, we're all living in our own little bubble of reality. And that is a part of the awakening, is to step out of your bubble, step out of your daily routine, start paying attention, questioning, why am I doing this? What am I doing here? Where am I going? What is the plan here? And start just asking yourself more, trying to figure it out. But so in this, and then everything is the micro macro, and so it's everything in between. So you can kind of talk about reality anywhere in between. And so it's like on all different levels. And that's one reason why we all see things differently, because we all are on different levels and we all have different perspectives. But we're all here for this same big awakening process, this big cleansing of our souls, it's like cleanse this mud and muck off of us to go back into the light. And it's kind of like, it's just like this leveling up in a game to me. It's like completing one game, and then we're going into the new 2.0. But we got to master this game. We got to be good at this one. We can't just skip out of this game and go and be masters at this game. We got to play this one through. And so you have to complete it. It's like this completion of your soul's experiences. And it's so trippy how, just like how my neck being all twisted, and how in my physical thing, when I wasn't dealing with things, it just, start getting migraines, more pain, and muscle spasms. Like it was getting worse and worse, and I had no idea, but that is the lack of them giving us direction. And we go to the doctor, can you tell me what's up? It'd be very different if we went to a spiritualist, a mystic, we went to a seer, and we said, can you help me to figure out what I got going on and stuff. And to me, that, you always got to turn it back on the people. Like, they have to figure it out for themselves. You have to go inside yourself. But I don't know. I think it can be helpful for just people to be able to talk things through too, and be able to talk about, because then you find yourself sometimes just when you're talking. And so but I mean, what a different thing, if you're having these problems and you go to the doctor. This is more what QHHT did too, is that you go to them, and then they go into take you into hypnosis so that you can talk to your higher self and figure out what's going on. But but if we went to people who had that more spiritual concept of like, well, your body is telling you something, and so it has something to do with some other past life or something that you are not paying attention to. You have something with your lessons and stuff. Because I can see it so much now that I'm way past it. I can see why I was getting sicker, and how it had anything to do with some past life where I was hung because whatever it was, I didn't stand up for myself. I couldn't speak my truth, whatever the things were that, I come back into this one, and these certain things start playing out to push and motivate me towards healing those things and doing those things. And when I wasn't doing that, I was just getting more physically sick. And so it's way different to take it in on yourself and try and figure out like what is your body trying to tell you, and what are you doing, like what are you doing wrong for yourself. Because to me, the doing wrong for ourselves is not taking care of ourselves, not loving ourselves, not having a healthy lifestyle, not like so many people's bodies are screaming at them. There's so much sickness around people having unhealthy lifestyles, and it's just been a product of our reality, of our environment. They've tried to create that so that they want to just keep us sick. They want to keep us sad and sick and distracted, divided. Because when we all come together, see, when we're just one little flower popping up through their sidewalks and stuff, that's one thing. But they know, like, once that sidewalk cracks, and the whole fucking thing's gonna go, and you're gonna have a whole garden is gonna start growing. And that's what, they don't want. And it's not like I see it as that they fear. It's fear because, like I said, I don't think they have emotions, but but they don't want that. They don't want us to come out and control their world. But when we come out, we blast off. We're not staying in their world. Their world falls apart. We move into a new world once we see, and once we come into this realization. It's like everybody it's like a cocoon until you break free as the butterfly to pull out of this space. And so so it is just so much about this evolving of self. What is that word? It's not just morphine. It's not like you're morphing into a butterfly. It is it's becoming. It's going from being like the caterpillar just slowly going through its life and being controlled, and somebody can put something in front of it, and it's got to go around. It's just slowly going. Somebody can step on it and squash it. So, but it's the evolving kind of thing. The evolving that turns it into the butterfly. Then it can fly, it can spread its wings, it can go where it wants to go. Which, see, in the micro macro, how it is going to end up, like, we're going to be moving different, we're going to travel different. And that's why, when I think about where I'm going to live and stuff, it doesn't seem so much like, well, I got to live real close because it's going to take so long. No, we're going to be able to zip around and get to places way faster. So we'll be able to see people easier, and it won't be so tedious. And the corporation won't have control over us by having us go on their fucking aircrafts and shit. We'll have our own. So, so anyways, on the toroidal field, on the earth thing, so how I see it is like we're a bubble in the ocean. We're not out in space, in the air, and all this shit going on. We're like a bubble in the ocean, and it's all on different vibrations. And in the different vibrations, it has an expression of experience. And so, in this one that we're at it, in this inversion, and so they tell us that we're on the outside of this planet, and they're spinning through space and all this shit. But what I see it as is, so it's a toroidal field. So there's energy that's going in it like this. And it's like the AC/DC. It's like the two energies that need each other, the light and the dark. And so they are pulled to each other, and then it's just like this cycle, like the yin and the yang, the two energies feed off of each other. So you have this energetic thing. And so in the middle part, okay, so we're in the toroidal field, so we're inside of it. And so that's how I say, like, we are more inside of a globe than we are on the outside of a globe. So we're more on the inside. And then when you change your perspective of things, and then you see, like, so if you took something on the inside, everything is in the inside, but it's like it's not like we're facing sideways, because we are, it is like our realities. So it's not like we're tipped sideways, but it's like, because when you're in the thing, you are still in the upright, like, but it's like everything is going in to this, all these different realities. It's going like this. It's not just like a dollhouse. Like, it's not just like all set, like how we think of the physical world being, like how we were programmed to think, like there's these land masses, water around it, it's on this big thing. It's way more of it's just way more yeah, this word's chunky and deliberate, but it's way, like, the landscape just goes different is how I see it. And then the in the midpoint too, so where the energy is in here, that would be like the tunnel, the portal. And then where they say a north and south thing, but that is just like a point of entry and exit of energy. So the energy is like this energy going like this, and then in here, this creates this portal thing, which I think that is the central sun. This is why I kept hearing central sun is like a portal, and the central sun, why it's called central sun, is because it's in the middle. So all of this land mass that's going in all these different parts, and it's kind of weird because there's an inner earth, but it just is like it goes inner deeper. Like, it's, I don't know, it's just weird because it's like we're not outside of this, we're inside of this. And it's this energy. And then how I was seeing like the central sun and how it's going around, but it's like it's not going around like how what they tell us, like it's going around, but it's and then they also, they have this other fake sun thing too, which I think is kind of like I said, it's like they're like using a reflector. But then that other thing is like this LED light bulb. So I don't know, there's so much nonsense going on, but it's all to wake us up, it's all to get us to see, but I think the actual real thing of the central sun would be the portal point, that's this this energy. And so it creates like this light or something, but it's really this portal. And it's and people have seen like things going through the sun. It's like when you try and put it together in your mind, it's such a shift from what they've told us. And then when you start shifting, it's like, okay, but the sun going around and stuff. But how I was seeing it, it was like, so this toroidal field, the central sun in the middle, where it is like this portal of energy with these two spaces, and then the north and south node, and then the sun going around. But like, is it going around like this? Is it going around like this? Where all are we? Because like, I just don't think that the things are like physical. Like it's so hard to explain, because it's like, man, it's hard to explain, because it's like a city existing to the people it's in. It's like the places exist to you that you're at, and then it is like, I don't know, it's like things aren't as real as we think. They aren't as real. It's like this, it's like you have like these places, but they exist when you go there. And so, I don't know, it's kind of like certain places don't even exist to you when you don't know about them. And but it's like if you know about it, you take your focus and look at it, then it's in existence. But I don't know, because it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but to me, is like those guys from Pakistan or whatever saying that they walked to Mexico. That, to me, is like the worlds are a lot closer than what they tell us. And so it's almost like you believe you can get there, you get there. But it's like we're going into different worlds. It's so much like the Barbie movie, like how she would just go through all these different realities. She's trying to get to the real world from Barbie world, and she has to go through all these different realities. And then it was different modes of transportation and different realities and stuff. And that is what I see. And that is kind of like when we start going faster, we're going to go through. It wouldn't even be like you would go through them, but you wouldn't be like stopping and seeing them. You would just go right past them. And it could seem like nothing, and like a zip. But then if you stopped, then it's a whole world. So I don't know how to explain that. Like, but it's like the world only exists if you're there. So I don't know how to, how else to say it. But it's just so different here than what people see it as. And then people get so caught up in it, so caught up in their stories, so caught up in their victim. So many people are so caught up in like, poor me, poor me. But that also, if we put that back on people, and what do you not like? What do you want to change? Why is it poor you? What can you do to make things better? And so many people feel so trapped in being the victim, but it really is. You just have to see. It's like you have to save yourself. You have to look. You have to question things. You have to try and figure out. You got to look at it more like a game, more like you're in a haunted house and you're trying to find your way out. And so you're just going through all these things, trying to figure out the way out. And it is like a mental trap, because so many people are mentally trapped. And that is, that's the hard part. And you can't wake people up. You can't get them to see. It's so crazy too. Like for my sister to be like, everybody thought I was so crazy when I started saying the earth was flat. And but for them to be like, oh yeah, she thinks the earth is flat, I was like, that was 2018, 2016. Like by the time it was up to 2020, I was like, oh, it's not a it's once I started seeing things about the toroidal field. One of the things was on the flat earth thing, I think, was about the toroidal field. And then I saw more things and more things. And then it's just like you see things, but things are brought to you. Information's brought to you. Just seeing things. Information is brought to you so that you look at things. So you start seeing things for yourself. And so seeing those things were just like... expanding in my mind, like, oh, this is different. No, this is different than and you just keep getting more stuff and putting more pieces together. And however, people are all at different places and stuff. And so there's no right or wrong. There's no, gonna argue with somebody like, oh no, the earth's flat. No, it's a globe. No, it's like, it's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you're stuck. You think it's a globe, it's globe. You think it's a flat earth, it's flat earth. You think it's a toroidal field and it's, it's all like a dream and we're just bouncing around in this dream bubble or something, then that's what it is. It's going to be whatever you feel or think. So, nobody else can make you see, or, well, we can see that. You can't make somebody see what you see. They're going to see what they see. And it's just so trippy how this is all like, when I was a little kid, like, I didn't know that we were going to be, like, having this big awakening thing, and that we were going to start seeing how trapped people were. Like, I could see it as I was going through life, and I would talk about things with people, and I would always be like, I was so confused of, like, what is wrong with people? But now, to see and to put those pieces together, which also in the toroidal field thing. So where is the portal thing? And so we're kind of all out here, and this central sun is going around, but it's really this portal of energy, and we're out here, but we can't go because it is well, we go when we leave our bodies. We go, I think that's the tunnel of light. We go into that and move out of this arena, out of this area, this stage, this bubble or whatever. And outside of this bubble is a whole ocean. So it's not like you just have one place to go. Well, it's just, you just go to heaven. No, you go any fucking where you want to go. It's like there's lots of places to go. You can create your own places to go. And, but I was seeing it all as like, we are all the stars, like where I was saying when I was a little kid, and there were so many stars in the sky. It was so many. And when I look out now, you know, all I see is like some few spaceships up there, just going with their little colors, going and morphing around and stuff. And I don't see a bunch of stars like when I was a kid. When you looked up at the sky, there was like, it was like having the lightning bugs back then. They were everywhere. As soon as it got dark, there's lightning bugs everywhere. As soon as it got dark, there were stars everywhere in the sky. And then one of the nights, like a few weeks ago or months ago or whatever, where I was looking out at the sky and I was thinking, why was there so many stars before? And that is when I heard they were all born. And I was like, oh, so all the stars were all of our souls that were waiting to get sucked into our reality through our portal into entry. And so it was, but, you know, then it would make sense that there wasn't zillions of them up there now, because now we're going into this receipt, like what is that called? The tide, high tide and low tide. And you can think about how the universe works is like there's certain representations, like the way water works. This is just the way energy works and stuff. And so this recede, the high tide and low tide, and think about the pendulum and the swinging. Like this is how the energy works. It has a constant. It has a set. If it's going to go this way, it has to come back this way. You know, it can't just keep going and going and going and going. It's got to come back. And so there's these set things on energy and whatnot. And so I feel like I'm getting so, hold on. Okay, so so there's set things of how the energy works. Like you can't go against that. That's the set kind of thing of natural action, natural reaction, natural abilities of what is real, what is natural, how it really works and stuff. And here it's all, you know, it's all controlled and it's directed. And I don't know, this world is so fake to our real world. But let me see, what was I saying? So all of the stars and all the people being born, and then now we're at this time of this shift. And so now all these souls are here to shift. I would think, you know, a lot of the souls like coming into the game, like when you start a game, I think, you know, you're hoping to complete it. Like I think a lot of souls going into this time period, that they, you know, that their goal is to complete the process, to ascend, to advance. And but I don't think every soul is gonna get to the to that completion. And then there's going to be more shifts, like there's going to be souls going in different directions and stuff. So, and there's still people out there just killing people right and left, like this, out of jealousy, out of bitterness, out of hatefulness. This woman, like her ex, he was together with somebody else, and I don't know if it was just her 2 kids, his new girlfriend or whatever. So this lady decides to send poison eggs over to their house. So she leaves these Easter egg, big chocolate Easter egg things out, with love. And so her kids and everybody thinks, oh, well, look at this, we got Easter eggs. And so they eat them. Within a few minutes, the little boy keels over. Now the mom and the daughter are in the hospital and critical, all because this lady was jealous that she's with her. She got the guy. And this is what's so weird, is like, why do you want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you? How do you get so hung up on somebody who doesn't want to be with you? It's like, there's somebody out there for you, but when you are in a low vibration, the people who are going to be coming into your life are there to teach you, to raise your vibration, to get out of the low vibration. And so they're going to be toxic relationships and stuff. So when you're low vibration and you're desperate for somebody to love you so that you can feel better about yourself, you're going to get people that are going to not love you like you want to be loved, because you got to learn how to love yourself. And so that is, it's just this low vibration playing field that everybody is in. But when you advance yourself and you start caring for yourself and you start loving yourself, see, then you raise your vibration up to be around people. Like, you wouldn't put up with somebody who doesn't care about you properly. You wouldn't put up with certain things that you put up with when you're desperate. When you're not desperate, then you set a higher standard for yourself. And so then you move into that vibration so that other people, they're not going to put up with your nonsense because they're higher vibration. So everybody is more in this other kind of vibration. So there's a pool of people at different vibrations. You can move yourself from one vibration to the next, but there's work to do. You don't just zap, like these people are all trying to tell people, just zap yourself into your new one. Zap yourself into your best timeline. It's like, you have to, how do you go from, being toxic and so many of these people are just trying to leave the matrix anyways, but how do you go from being toxic into going into your best timeline? Like, who's going to be in there with you? If you're toxic, you're not going to be able to be around people who aren't toxic, because they're not going to put up with your shit. So you have to figure out like what your shit is so you can get your shit together. And you can't put it off on other people, because once people are healed, it's like, I don't got time for that. Like, that's your issue. That's your problem. And so the world that's being created is going to be, and it's not going to be mean or hateful, like, oh, well, this person has a problem, and people will be like, that's your problem. It's not going to be like that, but it's going to be like, people aren't going to get drugged into dramas and into little game playing things and the manipulations into these relationships that are so toxic that they'll kill you if they can't have you. They'll kill everyone around you and stuff. And then also there's that other level of these things playing out still with these soul groups. And like I said, there's always these soul groups and these entanglements of murdering each other. It's just like it's a thing. like they get real mad at they get so mad at somebody and they don't even know why. And then it's like, because you guys have been playing this shit out for a long time. You've been back and forth, you've done hard things to each other. It can be like, there was one I had heard, and this was a QHT, and I've talked about it before, because it was a woman who she was getting one. I don't remember how I know her whole story, but so she, her and her son were always at odds. They were always having issues. And she went and got a QHHT, and then she saw that he was the parent before. So they were switching back and forth, but it was like, there was abuse and murder and all sorts of stuff like that. And so, the kid is born to this person, and then this person kills him because they can't handle life. It's too frustrating. This person just brings the worst out of me, so they just doing their kid. And then, it switches. They're born. And now this person's the mom and this person's the child, because each soul gets to play out different things, however. And so she comes back and she's seeing this one. She was the mom and he was the kid, and there was all these issues, and they both were always feeling like the other one was going to kill him and stuff. But then when they went in, because I think he went in and got one then too, and then they could see like this back and forth of getting mad and killing one another. And there's lots of souls that like they do that stuff, and they just they go with their emotions, like they can't. And then there's no spiritual concept, so they don't think of things on a higher level, and they just go with their emotions. And see, that's so much a part of the awakening too, is getting control of your emotions, getting control of your impulses, and being more in charge of yourself, being more thorough, being more effective. So yeah, there is a lack of effectiveness when you are just playing games with people. You're trying to get people to like you, and there's a desperation of that. What was that too? There was something else that was seemed like there was something else with the government stuff. There's this whole big thing that keeps going. Like they keep on talking about the Pope. Like, and I kind of felt like he died a while ago. So, but they did that with Ruth Ginsburg, Bader Ginsburg, whatever, RBG or whatever. And they did that with her. Supposedly she had died like a year, 2 years before. And then they said, oh, she just died. And was like, yeah. And Hillary too, like that people find these old announcements on the news or something. Oh, she just died. And then all of a sudden it's pulled. And then, well, you don't hear anything about it again until 2 years later, and suddenly, oh, now she died. Yeah, she died. And so I was thinking that there was some shenanigans with the Pope thing. But I had just seen the other day was, so he was being wheeled around. He was just decrepit, sitting in this wheelchair, and just looking so sickly, and they're pushing him around, and people have all their cameras on it. But then, and don't forget, this is all show. So it's all a big show. So of course there's always going to be somebody who's getting the hot mic or catching this on film or catching that, because it's all a part of the show. But so there was somebody who caught it on film, and then after everybody was done with the picture taking, and they pull up in their wheelchair, and he just got up and started walking off. Look, he's all good and fine and dandy. And I was like, well, I don't know. Hey, there's so much, like the Vatican is a part of the church and the crown and the control, because that is how these people have done it. And over here in America now, they've done it through the corporation and the government, but they create control, which oh yeah, because I had already said that about that with hopefully when they say like the government that we had is ended and we're going to see or whatever, that is the corporation, and we're going to go back on we're going on the Constitution, we're going back on God's law. But even like I question even the Constitution at this point, because everything seems like restrictions, because God's law that's what we're under, is God's law, and they want us to be under their laws, man's laws, these laws that they come up with. And then you think, okay, well, that's a productive society. They're trying to make rules because we have all these weirdos out here who just kill people and do all this crazy shit. And but those are all soul stories playing out. And these people being over us, it's just to control us. It's not to stop stuff like that. They're not stopping people from killing each other. They're not stopping crimes and stuff. And even like this Congress guy, like, there was another congressman. I don't think this is the one that's trying to get the M13 fellow back over here, but it was another Congress guy, and he was out there talking, a good guy, and he's out for family and all this stuff. Well, he just got busted, and he was trying to go hook up. He had been a lot of emails between him and a 16-year-old girl he was going to hook up with, and but it really wasn't a girl. It was really what is that called? Uh, setup. It was really a setup thing, a sting operation. And so he got busted. And, but they put out these fake, phony things. And I just saw somebody else because, they're still going on. Katy Perry is, moving into position of a roast, but Blake Lively's still being roasted. They're still showing and bringing up stuff. But I had just seen somebody who was talking about the creepy stuff with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, and saying there's a lot of stuff when you start looking into it more that it seems like Ryan Reynolds is one of these creepy guys. Like there's some stuff with some actresses and stuff that he's worked with where it's like, was he doing stuff? Like, is he really the sexual assaulter? Where they're trying to say that Jason Baldoni is or whatever, but really it's, I mean, there's a lot of actors who have been getting busted for this shit. They go, some insecure guy, and then they get popular in a movie or something. They get all full of themselves and they think every girl wants them, and then they push themselves onto people. And so it's, they end up being rapists and sexual assaulters or something by being like that. But it's kind of like their ego. They're so full of themselves. They just think everybody wants them. Like they're giving you a gift or something. And it's like, well, some of these girls just wanted to hang out with you. Some of these girls just wanted to talk. They just wanted you to like them. And you just, thought it was just a little spot for your dick to stop for a minute. And so you are misleading and these different girls or whatever. So they just didn't give a crap, about what was happening with other people and their emotions or whatever, because they're just self-centered and stuck in their own egos. So you have tons of those kinds of guys anyways in Hollywood. It was kind of like the accepted thing, like when it's okay to do bad things, then a lot of people are like, well, everybody else is doing it, might as well. And but each of us are held accountable for our own actions. So you can join in on the crowd and think like you can get away with it, but no, you're held accountable. If you're not having the crowd at your life review, they're not gonna, oh, well, we were all going the same speed limit. No, and it's you. And you will face yourself. Well, why was I going along with them? Why did I do that? Why did I do this? And then you get to see like the consequences. You get to see like your own, the interpretation of you, or your existence by everyone around you. So you get to see like what you've been putting out, your energy and stuff. And that's more of the validity. That is more of what you are trying to see. You're not trying to get to heaven. You're not trying to get God's approval. You're trying to just like witness yourself and then fine tune yourself, and then it's also this experiencing yourself. So it's just, I just feel like in this reality, in this world, we're so judgmental on ourselves, but in real spiritual world, we're not judgmental on ourselves like that. And yeah, we want to go in and fix things and stuff, but we aren't so hateful on ourselves. Like, it's very hateful. But anyway, so Ryan Reynolds, he's a weirdo, which I was already saying, like, there's something weird because there's just weird stuff about him. And then I had said, and it's really weird how Blake was supposedly, she was going and talking to, like, I had seen her, this was something that was going around like in 2020, where it seemed like, oh, so she's aware of the sickos who eat kids and stuff like that. And so she's out there trying to talk about it and get people to have awareness of it. And when you hear her talk, she seems like she's really sad or whatever. But this person was saying like that they went and got themselves involved with victims, and a lot of the people who get involved with the victims of these certain crimes, it's because they want access to them. And so I had said, it's really weird that she would be out there saying this stuff. So she would be a whistleblower, exposing, and she has a platform. But Ryan would be getting all these big parts and stuff. That doesn't go together. That doesn't go together. Same with Ashton and Mila, you know, he he's going before Congress, like he's doing all this good stuff, but he's very involved, I think, in this stuff too. And so, but they use these distractions, like we're out there, we're involved, and we're trying to help and stuff. But so because I kept on thinking, well, if she really is out there whistleblowing, he wouldn't be getting the parts. They'd be trying to shut him down. They'd be trying to, red tie him or something. They don't, I'm sure their dog and their kids are just fine. And so I think that shows that they are more of accepted by the dark crowd. And so if they're accepted, then they aren't on the up and up about trying to help stop the traffic situation, or the bigger thing. Like, everybody gets really stuck on the traffic, but the bigger thing to me is the human trade. Like, it's huge. Like the organ, all the harvest, like all that shit. This guy, I just saw this guy. I'd never seen him before, and he was doing a video. And him and his wife bought some property or something. And so they're out there going over their property, figuring out where they're going to build their house or something. I'm not really sure because I haven't followed him on his whole thing. So he's talking about, so we're out here walking around and we're looking for water, and we found this little pond. And he said, but the weird thing is in this pond and all around this pond is tons and tons of backpacks. Tons of kids' clothes, tons of backpacks, tons of all this stuff. Where some of the people in the comments were like, well, when the people are, the illegal immigrants are coming over, they just toss that stuff all the time. But this guy was like, well, it's all kid stuff. And, but, there's definitely, they get these kids over there and they load them up. They don't need their backpacks anymore. They're going to be somebody's dinner or something. So yeah, I don't know. See, and they found some mounds that look like little graves too. It's like, that is creepy shit, man. And so then I went to go see like whatever his update was. So they had left there, and all these people were like, you need to call the cops, you need to call the cops and stuff. And oh yeah, and then there was somebody who was also saying there's like an organization, there's an outfit, a group that is for all the indigenous women who are going missing, because remember, our government, they pretend like they don't exist because, they want to be able to take them and have nobody notice. And when those people try and speak out, well, they don't get coverage and stuff. That's what this whole big red hand thing. And so there was somebody telling them to call that organization and have them come out and do an inspection or something. I think if the cops came or something, even if there's, some cops out there who were like, man, this is crazy, then there would be somebody up at the top that would be like, no, you got to shut that down. They would probably clear those people out of that area, say it's a crime scene, they can't be there. And then the stuff would disappear. Like, there were so many people back in the day that was, finding mounds, finding things with giants, finding all sorts of stuff. And they would call, and then the Smithsonian would come out and take over, take all the stuff, and it just disappears. So there's just where the men in black, now they're the cleaner uppers. So, a mess we don't want the people to know about, let's just go clean it up. So, I don't know where this land is. I would assume, because people are saying, well, it's immigrants and stuff like that it must be in South Texas, might be New Mexico, but it could be in Arizona. And he said, well, we're not totally in the desert, so I don't know, they're out in the plains somewhere. And that still, to me, is super creepy. And then the mounds, like, she was showing, because him and his wife were out there, and he was showing, and she was showing, like, here's a mound, and here's another one, and it's like, oh my God, that looks totally like little graves. And all those backpacks, because they were showing, it was all those. So I don't even know who you could call, because like there would be people at the top who would be like, shut it down. But see, there's more and more arrests going. taking down those corrupt people, taking down these corrupt judges, taking down these corrupt politicians, taking down these corrupt officials that are supposedly, you know, our sheriffs and lawmakers or law providers or whatever, but they're all, the only way you move up in that stuff is out of corruption, of protecting the real criminals, the real pervs, the real cannibal, all those, these dark people, these, the vamps, whatever these people are. So the, so they're here to protect them. The corporate legal system is all in order to protect them, and then to snake into our rights and to use a bunch of side talking to get us confused. That's why all of their contracts and shit have to have lawyers and all this shit. Like, it should be pretty basic, but no. They have all these contracts and all these words and stuff just to make it, but the words that they got in there, that's where it started being found now by the judges that aren't corrupt, is that this is illegal, this isn't legal, this is against our human rights, this is against all sorts of stuff. So it's all going to fall apart. It's not going to keep going. And all these different things, all these baby eater, mermaid eater, control freak, weirdo people are all going to be going down, and all the people that were feeding off of that dark energy are gonna, you know, they're gonna have their own consequence, their own facing, their own crimes, their own shit and stuff. But like I said too, you can't just jump from being out of in shit and jump into being in the fucking cleaned up in the sauna or something. Like, there's yeah, if you think of the muck of this world and all of this shit and the darkness, that when you start pulling free from it, when you start pulling yourself out of it, it's on you. And you have to let it go. You have to figure out what's on you. I had the weirdest thing happen the other day. And I keep having these weird things happen where all of a sudden, like, things are moving weird, or I start gagging and stuff. And yesterday it was like all of a sudden something came in my mind, and then right when it did, it was like I had this total gag that was like, and then it was almost like some energy came out of me or something. I was like, oh my God, what do we have, like these things that get in, like, are stuck on us or something? Like, I don't know, it's weird because I didn't feel like, you know, evil just left me or something. But, you know, they can feed into your patterns of thought, and so they can direct your thoughts and stuff. That's why, you know, you got to really get a handle on your thoughts, and to me, you got to slow them down and start talking back. But anyways, like, I don't even know what that was or what happened. It was just the weirdest thing. I just keep having the weirdest fucking shit happen. So weird all the time. And but let me think, 'cause now I'm feeling distracted because I know she's coming. Here she comes. Oh, I wanted to tell you, this was so funny. I couldn't believe it, how funny this was. So, and I don't think I can tell it as funny as it was. But so we went for this little walk, like we always go on these little walks. And I'm almost done. And Max is always, he's just like spinning around. He's in his own little world. He's always looking. He's always interested. He's like a attention deficit dog or something. And so we're walking, and it's slow. He still is a slow one. Oh, here comes the Archibald. Estelle, you could come out here. Okay, I'm almost done. And let me tell this story just a minute. And then it's like fucking 2:30 in the morning. It's like, oh damn. This is the part where I hate when I get up, because it's not ever my little time of just sitting here having peace, you know, and then going back to bed. No, it's then get up, let's do this, let's do that, let's eat, let's do it. It's like, it's a whole fucking thing. So anyways, so we go on this walk, and Max is being his regular old self, and I don't remember what it was. It was so funny because I was walking by Stella, and so they're always up ahead a little bit, and Max starts doing this weird thing where he goes round Archie, then he goes back around over here, then he goes back around over here, and back around over here. And Archie got so irritated by him. And it was so funny because I always get irritated, like, come on, Max, just walk. Why you gotta do this? Just go. And Archie got so pissed off at him, and he starts like trying to hit him instead of, it was almost like all of a sudden like I was watching two little boys. It wasn't like I was watching dogs, and the faces that Archie was making. And so I said, oh, is he irritating you? And Archie turns around and he looks at me like, I swear to God, the face he made, it's like you could totally read all his emotions. And he was just like, oh, I swear to God. And so then he turns back around to him and starts going at him again. And whatever it was, he kept making these, like when I was talking to him, he kept making these faces that was so, it was so person-like, it was so human-like, how he was communicating through his expression to me about how he was feeling and how he was reacting to Max. And then Stella got involved. And then Stella's like, wow, she's got to grab the leash and start walking. She grabs Archie's first. It's like, no, don't. Then she grabs Max's and she's walking and she's dragging him. And sometimes I just feel so sorry for him. He gets so picked on. But he is such a little, like, I don't know. He's in his own little world and he pisses them off. He I don't even know. Oh yeah, and the cat. So the cat's not a panther, but what is so trippy is that he looks like a miniature panther. Like the way it looks like a panther to me. Because yesterday I got to meet him. So I was, my mom's sick as shit after her trip, and she was around, one of the great grandkids was sick and sitting on her lap, and so now she's come back and she's sick as fuck. So I was, I'm still trying to help her out anyways. Doing the litter box, but I don't want to come in and take over and then leave her stranded of like, oh my God, I didn't do anything while she was here. She did everything, and now I'm, you know, feel 10 years older trying to do things. Because that's the thing. You can't stop doing shit. I mean, just like yesterday, my mom, she was telling me some conversation with my sister and something about, you know, well, do you feel older or whatever? And she was like, no, I feel the same as I did younger. My mom's told me that forever. Like, it's so weird because you always feel the same, but then you look in the mirror and you just keep getting older. And, but that's the thing, is we feel the same. In this aging thing is this lack of minerals and this lack of knowing how to live properly, you know, healing ourselves and stuff, and being overburdened by all these chemicals. And so the aging is all these factors that go together. And then when you stop doing things, like, you got to push yourself, because as soon as you stop, then it starts being like, well, now I'm stiff and I'm old and it's harder to get around. Because she said, because I see myself as the same, like I feel the same inside, but she said the only thing is like it's a lot harder to get around, I'm more tired and stuff. But see, that's all because me doing so much of her work now to help her would be really hard. Once I'm gone, then it's going to be like, oh my God, I've got all this to do, and it's going to be harder. So then it's like, man, it's like you want to help out, but then am I really doing you any favors? Because we need to all, you know, but then also I see it as like, well, you know, cooperation of living in the same, excuse me, just a minute. In the corporation of living in the same existence, in the same space, we all have to work together. So, you know, but anyways, you know, that's the whole thing. But anyway, so I saw the cat yesterday, because I went and cleaned the litter boxes and went to go take it down to the garbage, and the cat was out laying in the yard. And so I started talking to it, and I brought it down some food. So I started talking to him, and he stopped and he's watching me. And so then I started walking over to him, and he was purring and meowing, and I went over and I was petting him. He has the most green snake eyes. It was so crazy how green, and then this total slit in his eyes. And maybe it was because he was outside, because all the cats have these slits, which is a weird thing, because wild cats have pupils like us, and these domesticated cats have slits like a lizard or something. So there's whole weird things about that. You can go into that conspiracy thing. But anyway, so it has these total green eyes, this total split or slit. And then the whole way he looks, he just looks like a panther, and the way he walks and stuff. But anyways, he's just a cat. And he's not really going to grow and become giant. But it's just weird because it's like the manifestation of what it is that she has drawn out there. He looks like it, only he's smaller. But and she feels certain that he is a sibling to another cat that she had show up that looks just like him. And so in the romantic view of it is like, did he sniff his brother out? Now he's come to find him? Is that the cutest thing ever? So I don't know. That's just our little fantasy of it or something. But she is going to work towards getting him to be able to come in and with the other cats and stuff, because now he's coming out. And I went down there and I told him, you know, I brought you some more food. He started following me, and we walked up there and I showed him the food, and he went over and started eating it. I went out and talked to him, and he was just staying out there. Then when he finished, he came out in the driveway and was, you know, so he's getting way more comfortable. He's not some wild cat. He let me pet him and stuff. He's obviously dumped or ran away or something. He seems like he has had human interaction. He's not feral or anything. Okay, lady. So anyways, let's just wrap this shit up. So here's my hair situation. Now it is starting to look like, oh, good. There's starting to be, it's not just like little whiskers up there. I hope it just keeps going and growing. I swear to God, sometimes, like, if you take biotin, like, to me, I would take biotin, and then it would be working. My nails would be getting harder and stuff, and then it would, like, cap off. And it would be like, well, that's not working so great anymore. But zinc also is good for your hair. And so, I don't know. I'm taking zinc, too. And you got to take Curcumin to make zinc work, so... Anyways, and my tooth is sensitive as fuck lately. God dang, when I was drinking my tea, I was like, fuck, man. So, anyways, let's just, look, I wish it would just hurry up and finish healing. God dang, it's like sore. So, it's still, I'm not gonna go get it pulled or anything. Like, I'm gonna keep going. And so, it's growing, it's healing. It's just like, dang, man. And then, oh yeah, my eye thing too. And it's weird because I can, in my eyes, even though my vision is getting better, there's still something that I can see that's there, which I would think it's got to be whatever, some little capsulated thing of whatever is attacking. Like if it's botulism is in a tumor kind of thing, and it's in this, and I can see it or something. I don't know, because this thing started seeming like it was breaking out again, and it was getting really itchy, and then it started moving, and it went up here again, and then I started putting the aloe vera. Maybe there was a couple days I didn't put any on it or something, so I started being like, well, I better put some more. And so I put some on it, and I think I might have put it a couple times a day, and then it started dropping back down again. Like, even I was feeling this morning, I think, while I was laying in there, I was like, oh my gosh, is it gone? Is there nothing? But now I can feel it again, but it's like way down here again, and it still is like this little bump, and it just is sore and burns and stuff. So there's still something going on, but I'm not going into that. These motherfuckers, you know, those doctor fucking psychos, I swear to God, they would just go in and say, we're just gonna cut this out, we're gonna cut this off here, we're gonna, you know, it's like, fuck that, man. I'm not your fucking Mr. Potato Head here. No way. So anyways, I don't know. Oh, if I've said anything productive. I have no idea. I'm just midnight rambler. So anyways, we'll see what the day holds. We'll see how it goes. All I can tell you is just remember what you're doing here is learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody, and learning how to have the day you want to have, because you can have the day you want to have. It's how you focus. It's what you pay attention to is going to be the day you have. So let's have a good one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.